Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's public hearing on 4 TLC rule proposals. I'm Commissioner David Doe, and I'm joined today by our full set of commissioners, Commissioners Bierstein, Kaufman, Mitchell, Chan, Velasquez, Sorrentino, and Bader. It's been about 6 weeks since we last gathered, and I hope everyone's summer has been filled with fun, family, and for our TLC drivers and bases tuning in today, trips. Speaking of trips, specifically EV trips, I'd like to remind our high volume drivers out there that at the end of this month, the federal tax credits for EVs are set to expire. If you've been thinking about buying an EV, you can save up to $7,500 on a new vehicle and up to $4,000 on a used one. If you're looking for a new vehicle, getting an EV is a great way to future-proof your business, as Uber and Lyft are required to dispatch all trips to either zero-emission or wheelchair-accessible vehicles by 2030. Every year between now and then, the percentage of trips required to be either EV or WAV will increase. So investing in an electric vehicle or a wheelchair-accessible vehicle now is a great way to maximize trips later. If you need help with financial planning, our team at the Owner Driver Resource Center in Long Island City can help you set up free consultation from a financial professional. Call 718-391-5511 or visit odrc@tlc.nyc.gov. Now on to today's agenda. Today we'll be hearing from the public about four proposed rule amendments, The first amends our rules that governs the ways in which a non-accessible vehicle can be converted to a wheelchair-accessible vehicle. It seeks to make it easier for conversion guidelines to understand and to increase competition among converters, which we hope will make conversions a little more affordable for our vehicle owners. Our second proposed amendment corrects our high-volume for-hire vehicle service driver pay rules, or adjusts the minimum per mile rate for trips that begin in New York City and end outside of New York City, a minor correction for something not included in the original package. The third amends our rules to comply with the newly enacted local law, reducing personal injury insurance coverage requirements from $200,000 to $100,000. It is our sincere hope that insurance companies will be passing the savings on to drivers in the form of reduced premiums. The last rule amendment we'll be discussing today will also bring us into compliance with another newly enacted local law that requires all taxicabs and for-hire vehicles to add cyclist awareness decals inside the rear passenger doors. We have already been handing out hundreds of thousands of these stickers over the last 12 years, and this formalizes their use. With that, I will now hand over the meeting to our General Counsel, Cheryl Ludo, to begin the hearing. Cheryl?
Good morning. When I call your name, you can unmute your microphone and begin your testimony. Each speaker will be allotted 3 minutes to speak. The time limit will be strictly enforced. A 30-second warning will be provided, and then you'll need to conclude your testimony when the time limit is up. 3 of the 4 rule proposals were published in the City Record and posted on our website on July 29th, 2025. The proposal regarding door decals was published on August 4th. The public comment period ends today. The video of this hearing and copies of all written comments received through today will be provided to the commissioners prior to the vote on these rules. With that, we will begin our public hearing. Please note there are 4 separate topics, and I know some of you have signed up for multiple topics. Please limit your comments to that topic. So it's a little awkward, but you'll be appearing, 3 or 4 times, but keep them separate, please. With that, we're going to begin with the wheelchair accessible vehicle conversion rule proposal. And our first speaker is Jean Ryan from Disabled in Action. See Jean.
I'm on.
Okay, yeah, so please begin.
Hello, I'm Jean Ryan, a wheelchair user and president of Disabled in Action of Metropolitan New York and a member of Taxis for All, a coalition working toward 100% accessible taxis and for-hire vehicles so that people with mobility disabilities have the same chance to get a cab or for-hire vehicle as everyone else. Our inability to get rides is real. On the WAV conversions, This is a subject near and dear to Taxis for All's and DIA's hearts. We prefer a purpose-built, accessible vehicle, but since most WAVs are converted, we are pleased that the conversion rules will be standardized for all converters. We strongly support conversions that are safe to get into for wheelchair users, not too steep, and provide a level or almost level surface to be on. Riding at a backward slant is very, very uncomfortable, as are conversions that make a very loud clunk with every bump or speed bump in the road. We would like the TLC to investigate and require that all WAVs, certainly new converted ones, use the new Q-Strength seatbelt system that is all in one without separate pieces that drivers have no idea how to put together or attach to the vehicle. We want the seatbelts permanently attached to the frame of the vehicle, not attached to an upright seat next to us or in some bag somewhere because we care about our safety. Everyone, including wheelchair users, are required to use seatbelts. We are unable to do our own. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker up is Peter Mazur from Metropolitan Taxicab Board of Trade.
Good morning. Good morning, Chairperson Doe and members of the Commission. My name is Peter Mazur, General Counsel to the Metropolitan Taxicab Board of Trade, a 72-year-old association representing owners and operators of licensed medallion taxicabs. This proposed rule would create identical standards for accessible vehicle conversions, whether performed by manufacturers or vehicle modifiers. We support this rule proposal. Today, virtually all taxicabs placed into service must be accessible to persons with disabilities. Any rule that limits or restricts the ability of a vehicle owner to place an otherwise safe, accessible vehicle into service adversely impacts on this mandate. While the rule addresses vehicle modifications, we urge that the TLC also review other rules which may have an adverse impact upon owners seeking to place accessible vehicles into service. To this end, we ask the TLC to consider existing limitations on the use of the Taxi Improvement Fund grants and reimbursements, and urge that grants be available on an equal basis to all vehicle owners, irrespective of their form of ownership. An individual owner, an owner-driver, a fleet, or an agent should be subject to the same rules with respect to placing vehicles into service, as well as funding for vehicle purchases, conversions, and operations. All owners have the same obligations to comply with the federal mandate and should be entitled to the same benefits that are available. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today, and I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have. No, I see
Thank
it
you.
sideways.
I guess our next speaker then will go to Evan Yankee, Brooklyn Center for Independence of the Disabled.
Good morning. I'm Evan Yankee, Advocacy Director for the Brooklyn Center for Independence of the Disabled. BCID is a member of the Taxis for All campaign, which supports 100% wheelchair accessibility for all medallion, taxi, and for-hire vehicles. I'm here today to testify on proposed rules that would update the modification process that vehicle converters can use when converting a non-accessible vehicle to a wheelchair-accessible vehicle. This proposed rule change has the potential to encourage competition from vehicle converters and, ultimately, lower the price of conversions, a welcome development that would make it easier for drivers to afford accessible vehicles. We recognize that the cost of accessible vehicles has risen astronomically in recent years and have urged City Hall to subsidize the additional cost of WAV conversions beyond what the Taxi Improvement Fund offers. At the same time, we urge the TLC today to make sure that all wheelchair accessible vehicles, whether from new or older converters, do not sacrifice quality, safety, and passenger experience to compete on price. Many riders with disabilities have already encountered quality and safety issues in vehicle retrofit work, ramps that are misaligned, securements that are improperly placed, and other barriers to riding securely in the vehicle. This can make the ride uncomfortable and unsafe, especially if passengers are not properly secured. Ultimately, the TLC must use its influence to improve the quality of wheelchair-accessible vehicles. Ideally, that would mean pushing vehicle manufacturers to produce factory-built wheelchair-accessible models, as is done in the London taxi system. In the short term, though, the TLC must start measuring conversion quality by surveying wheelchair users about their experience in accessible vehicles. Existing riders with disabilities already feel the impact of shoddy conversions. Without measures that take the rider experience into account, the TLC can't evaluate the quality of conversions and push for improvements. We encourage the TLC to take a harder look at this proposal and find ways to allow market entrants to compete over quality, not just price. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker up is Kathleen Collins.
Good morning. My name is Kathleen Collins, and I'm with Disabled in Action. I agree with the testimony of Ms. Ryan and Mr. Yankee. With respect to the wheelchair accessible vehicle conversion proposal, we always support more competition, which we believe would lead to lower prices and hopefully more vehicles being made wheelchair accessible. However, sometimes competition leads to a reduction in quality and safety. Thus, we request that the proposed amendment include language that safeguards against such possibilities. Further, we request that this proposed rule include a requirement that all retrofitted taxis have an all-in-one seat belt and shoulder belt that hangs from the ceiling and hooks into the floor in one smooth movement, such as the Q-strained seatbelt system that Ms. Ryan spoke about. So since this would increase the possibility of a person using a wheelchair receiving a shoulder belt and seat belt, which sadly is not the case presently. Finally, we would like to see in the near future a rule that within a certain number of years, such as 3 to 5 years from now, all taxis are going to be operated in New York. All taxis going to be operated in New York must be manufactured to be wheelchair accessible, like they are in cities such as London, England. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Ken Ost from Advanced Mobility Technology.
Good morning, everyone. Let me just adjust my picture here. My name's Kenny Ost. I'm the Senior Manufacturing Engineer and Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards Testing Coordinator with Advanced Mobility Technologies. We're also known as AMT. We are located in Morrisville, Pennsylvania. My esteemed colleagues call me a dinosaur. But what I do, excuse me, I'm misreading my statement here, but I enjoy what I do, and I have over 50 years experience in the automotive industry. The positive feedback that is received from the field shows that we're making a difference. I'd like to thank Commissioner Doe and the TLC Board of Commissioners for allowing me to testify today. AMT is a small business employing less than 25 employees, and it has been a long, hard road to get our present TLC approval for our Toyota Sienna hybrid WAV. I applaud the TLC's efforts to amend the present TLC rules and specifications for the New York City TLC accepted WAV modifiers / converters, and also for the wheelchair accessible vehicle WAV production rule changes. AMT is presently working on new WAV models, such as the Honda Odyssey, to introduce to the New York City taxi and FH for hire vehicle market in the future. It is my opinion that these new amended rule changes will create more competition within our industry. And with new modifiers and converters entering into a presently limited choice market, it will also inspire new innovations and designs in the handicapped accessible products offered. It will also spur competition regarding conversion costs, ditto to what I've just been hearing from some of the past testimony. It's a win-win situation, with the operators having more available choices in the marketplace and at a competitive cost, and also for the handicapped passengers benefiting from the latest innovations available for a more comfortable and stress-free ride. I would like to ask the Board of Commissioners to please review Section 2, Subdivision C, Paragraph 16 of Section 59C-04 of the proposed amended Title 35 rules of the City of New York. I'd like to direct your attention to paragraph 16, which states the converted vehicle
30 seconds remaining.
must be purchased from the same converter which has manufactured the necessary parts and components provided the labor to convert the vehicle. Not all converters modifiers are licensed as vehicle dealers. I do possess a Pennsylvania dealer's license to supply AMT with the needed vehicles on request, but we also will modify clients' supplied vehicles. This allows the client or vehicle operator to go and purchase a vehicle before conversion to a WAV, negotiate the best price, be listed as the first owner for warranty purposes, and then bring it to the TLC approved converter modifier to be upfitted to a taxi FHV WAV. This cuts out the middleman, lowers acquisition costs. My suggestion is to change the beginning wording at paragraph 16 from converted vehicle to wheelchair accessible vehicle modification. By making this wording change, it will allow smaller WAV modifiers who do not possess a dealer's license to apply for TLC approval and to participate in the New York City WAV marketplace. Thank you for your consideration, and I feel that these proposed amended rules are a positive step forward for the WAV operators and handicapped passengers in New York City.
Thank you.
Uh,
I have a question for a minute.
sure. Go ahead, Paul.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You can go first.
Okay,
Go
sure. So you operate a little bit differently, Kenny, right? In the model that you work. So drivers can take their, let's say, Toyota Sienna to you in Pennsylvania and get that converted.
That's correct.
And if you can maybe discuss why that is a little bit cheaper versus, let's say, other models in other states.
Well, what's happening is if you're buying the vehicle directly converted from a dealership, they're adding of course, they're adding their profit into the picture. We're cutting out the middleman. This way, when an operator purchases a vehicle, unless they have a fleet account with say Toyota, they become on the title the first owner of the vehicle. So the full factory warranty that is available to them. If I purchase the vehicle from Toyota, I'm purchasing it as an individual, and then I'm reselling it to an operator. They lose some of the warranty in that process.
And it also allows, let's say, an individual driver to negotiate directly with the dealership on that individual vehicle to get the best price possible before they go to you as well.
They will be listed with Toyota as the first owner of the vehicle. Whereas if Kenny, let's say, buys the vehicle, Kenny is the first owner, and I'm selling it to operator B, who is going to become the second owner. There's still warranty involved, but not the same as if he was the original purchaser. Now we of course warrant our modification, but that's a whole different structure.
And good to see you, Paul.
It's very nice to hear you your testimony. Thank you. You have heard previously that there was an issue raised relative to the seatbelts that are that people asked to be modified. How complicated a modification would that be for you to do that?
As far regarding when you're saying a modification, we do with every modification we perform, install Q-strength tie downs and Q-strength belts, just depending upon, of course, and they're also tested as required by the TLC. We do pull testing at an independent lab to show the strength of the mounting, basically.
Right. So the question was that under the current rules, there is X, and I'm not an expert on the details on the engineering on this, but the default seatbelt requirement, the community is telling us, doesn't really work for them, and therefore they want it modified such that it'll be more effective for them riding in these vehicles. Are you telling me that what they're asking for is what you do as the default?
Well, we do it in general. We follow a certain design that we've submitted. Basically, I understood some of the testimony earlier. I'd like to sit down with you and discuss it further. But we follow basically the ADA rules and test to the required test requirements.
So okay, so what you're also saying is if there was a slight modification that we would like to see you do, such that the seatbelt works more efficiently for the disability community, you would be able to do that.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
And I think what Commissioner Bader is saying is that oftentimes the securements are in a separate bag, and that bag could be lost, right? If it was all in one, right, that could not be taken out of the vehicle, that we can secure people who use a wheelchair a little bit better.
We offer as an option, and so do our competitors, so it's nothing special to AMT, but we offer electric tie downs, which work quite well, actually, and it allows the wheelchair to be fastened as it enters the vehicle. So fastened to the front of the wheelchair, actually, to be hooked up as it enters the ramp. You can stretch these tie downs almost out to the end of the ramp. Once the wheelchair is in place inside the vehicle, a switch is pushed and it locks the front tie downs, which only leaves the rear tie downs, which are still manual, to be fastened. It's a good system, and they can't be, if they're fastened permanently to the floor in the front.
Yeah, I think what some of the advocates are asking for is also the shoulder securement that sometimes could be lost as well. And so we'll look at that further based on your comments and based on the advocate comments.
I sit down with anybody who's interested, because I'm always looking for new ideas, new innovations, things that make the product more acceptable.
Let me ask you another question. Where in Pennsylvania are you located, by the way?
Just outside of Philadelphia. We're actually right by the New Jersey border. Morrisville is right across the river from.
So it's relatively convenient to New York City, right?
Yeah, 90 minutes. I go out in the field a lot, and it's a quick run.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kenny.
My pleasure.
Cheryl.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Next person only listed as iPhone 3. So if iPhone 3 can identify themselves and tell me if you wish to speak on this rule or if it's a different rule.
Where's iPhone?
Hello?
No, I'm not iPhone 3.
No, I know. But who is? All right. I'm sorry. I'm going to go on to so that's the last person listed for the WAV conversion. So I'm going to go on to the driver payroll amendment. And first person listed for that is Majed Zegrar, a licensee. Majed? Yes, go ahead.
Hey, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, commissioners. I would like to speak about about the pay raise and the insurance. I will start with the pay raise. We want to thank TLC for the
Sorry, Majed, we'll bring you back for those. This is about wheelchair accessible.
No. We've moved on to the driver payroll amendment.
We moved on. Okay.
No worries.
Okay, go ahead.
Should I speak only about
which one are we at, Cheryl?
The driver payroll, the amendment.
Okay, so just the driver payroll at this point, okay, Majed?
Got it, yeah. So thank you again. We want to thank TLC for the 5%. We truly appreciate TLC stood with us and fought with us against a lockout, which was a nightmare for me as a driver, and getting 5% raise despite the threats and drama from a rideshare apps. We do really appreciate that. However, let's be honest, the 5% doesn't even cover the extra sugar in my coffee these days. The economy is so bad and the inflation is so high. Driver needs a fair pay raise. The driver pay rule must include the base fare for small trips. I mean the minimum base fare. Uber and Lyft do not guarantee any minimum fare for short trips, like 10 minutes or 1 mile. Almost we get paid like $3. Our expenses are too high to get paid like $3. For example, if you see the taxi has a minimum base fare. The SUV, they have it. The black car, they have the minimum base fare. Only us. That's not fair, and it should be $9 to $10. The base, I believe it's $8. The taxi is $10. And nowadays, the taxi on Uber app is cheaper than a regular X. We want transparency also when it comes to outbound search. So here is what the problem we're having with the pay raise now. We have a lot of drivers, they can't see the pay raise on long trips because Uber and Lyft, they miscalculated. When I checked my outbound search with Uber, I found a lot like $375, even they are like different miles and different minutes. Lyft, sometimes they don't even pay. So this will create just a confusion. We want them to be transparent about the outbound search. Yeah, that's basically about the pay raise. It's outbound search. A Lyft, I checked my last trips with a Lyft. They pay mile minute, and then if we tell them, if we speak to we contact the support, they said, no, that's your money. We call a TLC protection unit.
30 seconds remaining.
They take the information, but nothing happened. But I think the best way is we need transparency. Like we see the breakdown on our mile, we need to see it on outbound search too. Thank you very much for having me today. That's basically for the pay raise. And I would love to speak about the TLC insurance too, if you give me another chance.
We'll bring you back for insurance. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Hey, Commissioner, I'm so sorry. Pedro was iPhone 3. He's here next to me. Sorry for the wave. It's important for us, for him to speak.
Okay. Sorry, I'm a little confused. Who's iPhone 3?
Pedro Acosta.
Yeah.
Okay, and Pedro's speaking on?
On wave. Because he is a wave driver as well.
Okay, let's do that.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone. How you doing? Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about this very important topic, because this is affecting many, many people. It's important that you take in consideration things that you already changed just a few probably weeks ago. The benefit that you were giving to drivers, which was especially when they were using the program of the green and yellow accessible dispatch. You reduced the incentive from 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, according to the distance they have to move over to pick up the passenger, to only $10. If somebody is calling from Brooklyn and that person who is receiving the trip is in Manhattan, he's not going to receive any motivation to go to pick up that person who is in Brooklyn or maybe Bronx or whatever it is, because there you're going to pay only $10. So I don't think that was a good decision, because remember that people with disabilities are a big priority here in New York for the city and also for TLC. I urge you to reconsider again this decision that you took some time ago, because those people are going to be unattended if the driver doesn't have the incentive to go to pick up those people with disabilities. Please, I ask you to reconsider that. And also, one more thing that I'd like to ask you is if you could also implement a type of any payment like the yellow and green does to tax improvement fund, so you can include us, FHB, and have the benefit that they have, because remember that we are probably 10 times more drivers than the green and yellow together. So the benefit that we are going to provide to you is going to be a lot. So please, I also I beg you to try to include FHB in the tax improvement fund if possible. Thank you very much.
Agree with Nita.
Thank you. All right, so now we're going to go back to the driver payroll and Michelle Dotton. Michelle, go ahead.
Hi, good morning, Commissioner Doe and Commissioners. My name is Michelle Dotton, an advocate at IDG. I'm here with a profound concern that weighs heavily on the hearts of over 100,000 drivers. While a slew of issues continually challenge our industry, the recent consideration of fines for decal non-compliance add yet another layer of burden on our drivers. The lack of adequate regulations governing cyclists with a diverse array of scooters, e-bikes, electric skateboards.
Michelle,
Besides-
we're not on the
Oh, sorry, he signed
driver
up
pay.
for that? Okay, no, I'm cyclist, sorry.
Only cyclists?
Today,
All
I'm concerned about that very much, David.
Okay, we'll bring you back for the cyclists. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Our next speaker is Larbi Atabao. I think I've pronounced that poorly.
That works too high, everyone.
Okay.
Good morning, Commissioner. Good morning, fellow commissioners as well. There's so many things that needs to be recognized, which is the tremendous work that the Commissioner David did for the drivers throughout his time being here. And I hope that you can gonna continue for more years to come, Commissioner. Yeah, so drivers are the backbone of the city, and we know that the long hours, or the limited, I would call them limited long hours, because drivers cannot go over 10 hours in 24 hours. But sometimes they have to push for more hours to meet and their billings, their insurance. Moving millions of people a day, for the whole industry, I think that generates a lot of income, and most of the income we know go to the app companies. And I think we should go back to the drawing board and regulate a stronger pay fare for the drivers, and I'm sure that's going to cause some rattling into the industry in general, because I know the app company is going to push back and blame it on the commission. But the fact that there is a huge gap when it comes to how drivers are getting paid per minutes per mile, and if they do a short trip, and that short trip can take about 5 to 10 minutes, they're not paid fairly on that. The company is taking a huge cut from that, and that needs to be regulated. This is why the driver pay rule is very important. And I know I only have 1 minute here, and I have so many things to talk about, and I wish the commission can bring me back to talk about the next topic. So I urge the commission to make sure that the pay is not watered down, but improve, and the app have a rule that prevent them from taking a high cut from the drivers and also from the
30
riders.
seconds remaining.
Thank you. And meanwhile, what I want to do is to really stop the exploitation. Please do that. We witnessed over the past decade that companies are exploiting drivers, hard men and women, and it's hard to live in New York. So people are being pushed out of the industry because they fallen into that. So Commissioner, please look into that. All of you, please work for the drivers. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker up is Anwar Malik from IDG.
Hello. How's it going? Good morning, everybody. I think we're talking about money right now, right?
Yes, the driver payroll.
Yeah. Thank you for the testimony for Cyclist Decals. But I'll just go like this. Okay. Out of town surcharge, great. Let's raise that by a lot of money. That's one. Number two, the night shift surcharge. What I'm asking is, what we're asking for at IDG is to add like a surcharge for night shift drivers, given there's less traffic. And we received a lot of feedback after this new pay raise passed. It was good, it was great, but the night shift drivers, they are actually losing some money, especially when they have to go out of the 5 boroughs. So adding a surcharge or maybe a little bit higher price for out of town prices would be helpful for night shift drivers. I believe, right? There's a surcharge or a higher, little higher, like a few cents maybe for out of town trips. That would help. On top of that, Commissioner, we spoke to you last time about this. The Uber and Lyft, they've lowered the minimum fare. Can we let's try to do something for January or February next year to bring out like a minimum for those, like a $10 minimum per trip or something, right? That would really help all the drivers. Besides that, we are worried about Waymo coming in. I know I'm going sort of off topic, but I just want to put it out there. Everybody's worried. It's going to take away a lot of jobs. I've seen headlines in Atlanta and other states where they're saying riders are now actually canceling Uber and Lyft driver trips to actually wait for a Waymo to come over. You know, it's really worrisome. It's really scaring the hell out of all the drivers, us, and everybody. So if you could work on that, that'd be great. And I'll take 5 seconds for decals. We have been giving them since before it was proposed, and we're gonna continue giving these cyclist decals. It's a great idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Kathleen Collins.
Good morning again. As you know, my name is Kathleen Collins and I'm with Disabled in Action. And with respect to the driver pay rule amendment, we strongly support the right of drivers to earn a fair living wage. And to the extent that the proposed amendment to these rules accomplishes this, we support this proposed amendment to the rules. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker up is Jean Ryan. Is Jean here? Okay, I don't see her.
Let's come
there we
back to
go.
Jean.
Okay, I see.
Hello, I'm Jean Ryan, president of DIA and a wheelchair user and a longtime member of Taxis for All campaign. We support the right of drivers to make a living with fair wages. And if this rule revision does that, we support the formal adoption of this change the rule contains. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Sonam Lama from IDG.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning to all commissioners and the staffs. Really appreciate the work you guys have been doing for over the years. We are getting victory, and it is not possible without you guys considering about our concerns, So deep respect to all of you. So today I'm here to talk about the payroll issues. Definitely, the lockout would not be even possible without TLC and we working together. So congratulations to all drivers. We got a big victory on that. I've really liked this strict rules over the company because they were manipulating with a lot of things, in which TLC did really good job. That ultimately saves more money for drivers because they can work more, right? And at the same time, about the 5% increase rate, we see some definitely good differences, but there are more bads because if you look at definitely for long trips, we will be losing more money. And talking about the some of the trips that we do throughout the city, the short trips, we are losing a lot of money. So still, I don't know why the minimum wage kind of stuff is not working because if you look at how the company works is suppose I pick up a passenger at some street. Uh, they were given like 7 minutes time until we get canceled and get the money. Sometimes they show up in like 5-6 minutes for 10 minutes ride, and then once I drop him or off to the location, the price comes around like $5 to $6. So it should not be happening. If we calculate that for 1 hour, after all expenses, it's gonna be below $15. So for that, I think TLC should do something that make company accountable to make $10 minimum, regardless of how short or how the distance calculates. If that thing exists, it's going to be very good for the drivers to make more money, and which we can celebrate that too, because some of the trips we do here is like less than $3 too, because this company charges commissions on $8 and $5. Like 50% of our money goes to the commissions to the company. So I really want to tell commissioners to look into those kind of trips where this company is, taking 50% of commissions from those specific small
30
trips.
seconds remaining.
And also apart from that, there's a lot of way to save money and get pay raise. For example, yes, I agree with Malik. Autonomous vehicles should not be replaced with a driver like us. If they replace us, who's gonna pay for your renewal fees? How you guys gonna generate more income? So it's from us, right? We take renewal class, we do renewal pays. This kind of cars do not do that. So I strongly oppose those Waymo vehicles. Please, commissioners, do support us on us, where we human beings will be driving and provide the safe service that you guys want to, following the Vision Zero rules. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Diana Zampesova.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Can you guys see me? Okay.
Not yet.
Okay. Hi, my name is Dinara. I represent Nomad drivers, and I will talk about the payroll. Whether it's a yellow cab hailed on the street or Uber or Lyft application, the reality is the same. We are all the drivers that keeps New York City moving. Passengers rely on our work for their family, for their safety, for their convenience. And when it comes to minimum pay, the city treats us differently. For yellow cabs, the rules are simple and very transparent. The meter starts from $3 for the moment when the ride begins. And then 70 cents adds up for every 0.2 miles, or 70 cents adds up for every minute if the traffic is slow. On the top of that, they have surcharges like $2.50 for rush hours and $1 for overnight, $2.50 congestion surcharge, and obviously it's a plus tools and tips. That means every yellow cab ride starts with a guaranteed earnings from the very first second. A system designed by the city to protect the drivers. What we get instead? I actually screenshot 2 of my trips. I wish I could show you, but I'll just tell you. In one of my trips, the passenger paid $10. Out of that, Uber service fee, state surcharges, and Black Car Fund, my actual pay was $4.46. And then I found another trip. The total fare was $7.95, but my earning dropped to $4. This is a lived experience of thousands of drivers. The passenger pays one number, the app takes their cut, the government adds fees, and the driver, the one who actually provides the labor, walks away with almost nothing. Yes, city passed the minimum pay formula for FHV drivers. And this is not about yellow cabs vs Uber or Lyft drivers. We are all one workforce. We share the same streets, serve the same passengers, and face the same risk.
30 seconds remaining.
The only difference is how the city regulates our pay. Why should yellow cab drivers start every ride at $3 guaranteed, while they're also available on the Uber application? Even when the passenger paid double or triple. What we ask, commissioners and Taxi Limo Commission overall, please write and enforce the TLC minimum pay standard so drivers actually see what they're taking home, and close the loopholes that allow companies to underpay us the minimum payment. So thank you so much.
Thank you. So that was our last speaker on driver pay. Now we're moving
Excuse
into
me, can I get a clarification on something? I'm sorry.
Sure.
It says that we're updating the out-of-town minimum from 1.758 to 1.7, which is a lower number, correct?
That's correct, Paul.
So,
But this is there was the typo, like we briefed you on in the original report, and so the intent was always the 1.7 number that reflected the report that James Parrott conducted. And so in the original vote about 2 months ago, there was an error.
oh, okay, so that was what, okay, so I probably forgot that, okay. So we're going up, we're not going down, even though, okay, I assumed this.
Yes. We're
Okay,
going up in terms of the comparison to what the rate was before our vote a couple of months ago.
and the same thing with the 0.85 and the 0.875, okay, okay.
That is correct.
I probably don't remember that, okay. Okay, thank you, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay. So now we're moving on to the next topic, which is the personal injury insurance coverage. Our first speaker is Kathleen Collins.
Again, Kathleen Collins with Disabled in Action. I understand that the proposed amendment is due to a new city council law. Nevertheless, we oppose the TLC's proposal to reduce the personal injury insurance coverage that TLC licensed vehicles must get to operate a TLC licensed vehicle in New York City. Contrary to the TLC statement in its notice that decreasing the amount of coverage needed from 200,000 to 100,000 will better ensure that all road users, drivers, passengers, pedestrians, and cyclists, are quickly and adequately compensated in the event of an injury, causing crash, especially when injuries are significant or involve claims by multiple people. The facts, as shown in my letter, are otherwise. It is time that the New York City Council and the TLC work with drivers, passengers, and insurers to create better insurance choices, such as some type of pooled or self-insurance that New York State and New York City can help to create and administer. Please do not enact this proposed amendment to the TLC rules, but instead go back to the drawing board with all of the people involved and come up with a better plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Peter Mazur. Peter, you have to unmute.
I have to unmute and yeah, okay, good. Okay, good. Oh, let me try it again. Yeah, good morning. My name is Peter Mazur, General Counsel of the Metropolitan Taxicab Board of Trade. Earlier this year, the City Council considered a bill which would have prohibited the TLC from requiring a vehicle owner to maintain levels of no-fault insurance that exceeded the state mandated levels, which are $50,000 per person. Insurance carriers, as well as vehicle owners and operators, testified that the higher mandated limits of insurance encourage claimants to file fraudulent and excessive claims, allow medical practitioners to bill for unnecessary procedures and services, and enabled unethical attorneys to support frivolous lawsuits. In fact, given the higher levels of insurance coverage that yellow taxi cabs and other TLC licensed vehicles have, they have been often the targets for these types of fraud. Combined, these additional limits provide a burden to the industry without providing any discernible benefit to the public. In the end, the City Council bill that was signed into law by the mayor permitted the TLC to set limits for minimum no-fault insurance that are not to exceed 200% of the state required minimums. Therefore, the TLC was authorized to set limits at no more than $100,000 per person, and that is what is being proposed today. However, the bill does not require the TLC to adopt these higher limits, and the TLC could, by rule, set limits as low as $50,000, the state requirement. We in fact urge the TLC to amend this proposed rule to further reduce the minimum level of no-fault insurance to $50,000, the state mandated amount. Reducing the mandatory no-fault insurance to the required state levels would go a long way to reducing fraud, making it less lucrative for medical practitioners and attorneys to encourage claimants to file unnecessary lawsuits and seek unnecessary treatment, while still preserving all the rights that persons presently have injured to receive adequate and appropriate compensation. Lowering the cost of no-fault claims could ultimately protect the solvency of the fragile taxi and livery insurance industries and possibly
30 seconds remaining.
provide some savings to owners who are already struggling under the cost of new car insurance, insurance requirements that often exceed $10,000 per vehicle per year, as well as other operating costs, and encourage the recovery of our industry. Indeed, nothing in either the testimony or the before the city council or in the statement of basis and purpose that we have today provides any evidence that there is a public benefit in seeking these no-fault limits at $100,000 rather than the state limits of $50,000. And therefore, we urge you consider reducing the requirement for no-fault to $50,000, the state limits. Thank you again for this opportunity to speak this morning.
Thank you. Our next speaker up is Larbi Atabao. Larbi, you can unmute your mic now. Sir? All right. Then we will go on to Jean Ryan.
Hello, I'm Jean Ryan. I'm Jean Ryan from DIA and Taxis for All. We understand the city council mandated this rule change for personal liability insurance that the TLC must adopt, and we are opposed to it. It could very adversely affect drivers as well as passengers. Insurance is safety against a future catastrophe, and if people have less insurance, they have less safety if a catastrophe happens in the future. It is saving money today with the chance that people could be financially wiped out in the future, as well as not receive urgent health care and ongoing needed care in case of a very bad crash. We suggest that the TLC try to figure out how to solve the dire insurance situation for taxis and for-hire vehicles in order for drivers to have the necessary amount of insurance that is backed up by the ability to come through when the need arises to use the insurance. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. And Gina was our last speaker on insurance. We're moving to the fourth topic, which is the cyclist awareness decals. Our first speaker up is Majed Zegrar. Mr. Zegrar, can you unmute your microphone? No? I mean, I see your, okay. Then let's go to Kathleen Collins.
Sorry about the delay. Again, Kathleen Collins with Disabled in Action. With respect to the cyclist awareness decals proposed rule, we agree with this proposed rule with the following amendment proposed by the Center for Independence of the Disabled New York, which is that the cyclist awareness decals need to be provided in a format that provides effective, accessible communication. What this means is that they need to comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act accessibility guidelines, such as these decals need to be printed in a large font and have high contrast, as well as an audio announcement before the passenger disembarks from the vehicle, since not every person may be able to read even an accessible decal. Thank you for listening to me today. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Peter Mazur. Peter, could you unmute? Okay.
Okay, there I am. Okay, good.
All right.
There, got it. Okay. Good morning again, Peter Mazur, General Counsel, Metropolitan Taxicab Board of Trade. I realize that these stickers are required because of 19557 of the Administrative Code that City Council recently adopted. We would have preferred to see the information on the passenger information monitor, which I think is a better location rather than having stickers on the back of the taxi cab and cluttering up the space and also distracting passengers, possibly distracting drivers, and also not providing as convenient of a message to the passenger as would be on the sticker, on the information monitor rather than on the sticker. But what I would like to address this morning is the penalty provision. The proposed rule would enact a relatively small penalty, $50 or $75, and give the motorist or the medallion owner or the vehicle owner the opportunity to have the summons dismissed if the sticker is replaced within 10 days. However, there are other provisions of TLC rules that come into play. There is a rule which could mandate that drivers be given summonses for failing to continually inspect the vehicle. Also, owners can be given notices or directives to replace the sticker, and if they fail to do so, could face the possibility of a suspension of a license. Also, there is the inconvenience to the medallion owner or the vehicle owner who may have to go to Woodside and show that the sticker has been replaced and able to show compliance. A better approach would be to allow the vehicle owner to self-certify that the condition was corrected, very much the way that the Department of Motor Vehicles deals with summonses that are issued to motorists for equipment violation. The motorist can then submit a statement saying that the condition was corrected within 10 days, and the summons can be dismissed, avoiding the necessity for the vehicle owner to go to Woodside and show compliance, avoiding the possibility that an owner will face an additional fine or a possible suspension of their license for not complying with the directive to replace the sticker. So we ask you to consider these different alternatives to enforce this rule, realizing
30 seconds
that
remaining.
stickers will be required and that we would like to see compliance rather than punitive measures and possible suspensions of licenses for failure to comply with the directives and the notice to maintain the stickers at all times. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak today, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Let's see. Next speaker up should be Michelle Dotton.
Good morning, Commissioner Doe and Commissioners. I'm here with a profound concern that weighs heavy on the hearts of over 100,000 drivers. While a slew of issues continue to challenge our industry, the recent consideration of fines for decal non-compliance adds yet another layer of burden on our drivers. The lack of adequate regulations governing cyclists with a diverse array of scooters, e-bikes, electric skateboards. We find ourselves increasingly targeted with fines for their irresponsible actions, causing potential loss of insurance or our diamond stickers. Those penalties are levied because adult riders, in their haste or carelessness, fail to execute caution when exiting our vehicles, leading to pedestrian incidents. They are adults and know better. Why are we treating them like children? This situation is frustrating. We argue you to consider the imposition of fines for decals issued. Why the initial response be a punitive fine? We propose more equitable approach, an initial warning, a grace period, An official location where drivers can obtain these decals is a more supportive approach and proactive measure to ensure drivers are aware of their obligations before penalties or require the app companies to send a reminder to look for pedestrians before exiting the vehicle. There should be stricter regulations governing cyclists operating motorized vehicles. Without it, our drivers bear the brunt of incidents due to irresponsible cyclists. TLC, we must have a dialogue with the DOT to address the glaring absence of clear regulations for what is no longer just a traditional cyclist pedaling with 2 feet. The current regulatory framework is woefully insufficient. We manage this evolving landscape, leading to confusion and increased risk for drivers. We must find better solutions that prioritize both compliance and safety. It feels as though FHV drivers are always open season, consistently facing new regulations and burdens while their fundamental rights and needs are overlooked. We are being burdened with yet another worry when we contribute
30
significant
seconds
to
remaining.
the tax base. We face consistent restrictions on where we can safely drop off our riders, when we are going to be allowed to drop them off in a way that ensures their safety, avoiding pedestrian incidents and being ticketed, especially if new regulations continually block their rights based on what their license plate says. Let's prioritize TLC drivers, find solutions to support their vital role in our city's transportation network. As numerous challenges emerge on threats posed by autonomous vehicles against our sector emerge, let's not protect just one part of the sector. Let's help all TLC drivers feed their families. Say no to Waymo. I agree with WAV hack-up proposals by Mr. Mazur, Yankee, and Aus, and pay adjustments by Malik and Dinara, and also Mr. Mazur's last comment regarding the cyclists decals. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Larbi Atabo. Larbi, did you wish to speak? Okay, I'm going to go on to Anwar Malik.
I'm going to second what Michelle said because I already gave my testimony, but I agree with what Michelle said. Please fix these issues. Thank you.
Okay. And next speaker, Jean Ryan.
Hi, I'm Jean Ryan from DIA and Taxis for All campaign. We don't know if these decals help or are window litter because passengers are paying and then thinking about getting out to their destination. But if it helps prevent dooring to bicyclists and or passenger injuries, then of course we are all for the decals. However, as stated in Kathleen Collins and Sydney's statements, the decals have to have high contrast and big fonts so people with low vision can see them. And there has to be an audio component to automatic audio component to be accessible to people with low vision and who are blind. People with low vision and people who are blind take taxis and for-hire vehicles too. I don't know if it would be a workable idea to have a suggestion on the monitor. I suppose it would, but I don't like to have the monitor on. So for people like me who want to turn the monitor off, it probably wouldn't help. I agree with Michelle Dotton that we should not have punitive measures for not having the decal. That we should focus on trying to get drivers to have it, make it easier for them to have it, and make it easier for them to get it. And if they are cited for not having it, why could, and like the suggestion to self-certify, which I don't think self-certifying works well in most cases, but maybe they could take a photo of the decal and send that in with their, with their self-certification if they actually have to self-certify to do something rather than just, okay, if somebody comes to me, I've self-certified, but not in any official manner. They should be able to self-certify in an official manner, like reply to something. Lastly, we're concerned.
Wait, thank you.
There is no wheelchair accessible vehicle in this country that isn't an electric vehicle. Thank you, Decal. That we should focus on trying to get drivers to have it, make it easier for them to have it, and make it easier for them to get it. And if they are cited for not having it, why could, and like the suggestion to self-certify, which I don't think self-certifying works well in most cases, but maybe they could take a photo of the decal and send that in with their, you know, with their self-certification. If they actually have to self-certify to do something rather than just, okay, if somebody comes to me, I've self-certified, but not in any official manner. They should be able to self-certify in an official manner, like reply to something. Lastly, we're concerned about the looming rules for EVs, since right now there is no wheelchair accessible vehicle in this country that isn't an electric vehicle. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. And Jean is our last speaker. That concludes our hearings for today. Commissioner, I turn it back to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Cheryl. And I just want to thank our Board of Commissioners for being on, listening. And I want to just thank all of our advocates, drivers, and community for doing public testimony today and also submitting written testimony. The TLC team who worked hard on these 4 regulations will look at those and review and see if any additional changes or input are necessary in these 4 regulations. And with that, I'll close out this public hearing at 11:08. Thank you.